Now I am going to continue the attributes of living organism. The next one is homeostasis. So what is homeostasis? Property of self-regulation and tendency to maintain a steady state within an external environment which is liable to change is called homeostasis. So property of each and every living organism has the property of self-regulation and to maintain their steady state. Okay, so within the external environment. Okay, according to their environmental change, every living organism which maintain their steady state. So that is the self-regulations of the property. So this is known as a homeostasis. This homeostasis is essential for the living organisms to maintain internal condition to survive in the environment. Okay, so every cells which has the internal organelles, okay, internal organs, mitochondrium, Golgi apparatus, DNA, nucleus, and some of the cell organelles which is present inside the cell. Okay, so all the internal conditions which is maintained according to their environmental changes. Okay, so that characteristic which is present inside the cell, that is known as a homeostasis, and rest of the characteristics, movement, nutrition, respiration and excretion are also considered as the property of living things. The next topic is levels of organization. So levels of organization means the level of organization in living organism, it's begin with the atom and end with the biosphere. Okay, so atom is a minute particle. Okay, we already know about the atom. Okay, each level cannot exist the isolation. Okay, so in level of organization and one by one level is there. Okay, and each and every level cannot exist in isolation. Instead of the isolation, they form a level of integration. Okay, here is the diagrammatic representation of the level of organization and integration in living organism. It starts with atom and end with the biosphere. Atoms, which is going to be molecules and compounds. The molecules and compounds which has the three types. So one is a colloidal substance and crystals and mixtures. So these are the non-living cells. Okay, non-living cells or non-living particles. So you all are studied in the 10th standard. I listened it. Okay. The next one, molecules and compounds, they are produces the organelles. These organelles combine to form a living cells, and living cells which produces the tissues, and tissues produces the organs and organ system and individual organisms. The individual organisms and countable number means population, and more than means there is a community and ecosystem and biosphere. Okay, so these are the level of organization. So atoms and molecules and compounds is the which is coming under the non-living. Okay, and from the organelles to end of the biosphere which is coming under the living. Okay, so both the non-living and living characteristics which is exist in the level of organization. Okay, so here only living cells is start. Okay, so living cells, and this one is the individual organism and this one is the ecosystem. Next topic is metabolism. So metabolism, in all the cell has possessed these metabolic activity. In our body also we can have the metabolic activity. Then only the digestion and respiration is carried out in our body. Okay, so what does mean metabolism? So metabolism means the sum total of all chemical reactions taking place in a cell of living organism is known as a metabolism. Okay, so it's nothing but a chemical reactions taking place in a cells. But all the cells means the sum total of all chemical reactions taking place in a cell means that is known as a metabolism. Metabolism is divided into a two. One is the anabolism and another one is the catabolism. So what is the difference between anabolism and catabolism, and what is the explanation of the anabolism and catabolism means? Here anabolism means building up process. whereas catabolism means breaking down process. In anabolism, the smaller molecules combine together to form a larger molecule. In a catabolism, larger molecule break into smaller units. Chemical energy is formed and stored. Okay, and here the stored chemical energy is released and used. So, what's the best example of anabolism is synthesis of proteins from amino acids. Here, breaking down of glucose to carbon dioxide and water. Okay, so amino acids, more than 20 amino acids which makes a protein. So that is a building up process. So here is the amino acid is a smaller molecule and combined together form a larger molecule of the concerned protein. And also for this process chemical energy is produced and stored in the cells, okay, for later use. In catabolism, the glucose is a larger molecule. That molecule is break into a smaller units of carbon dioxide and water. So this process is known as a breaking down process. Here for the breaking of the glucose which needs energy. So the energy is released and also used by this process. So that is the difference of the anabolism from the catabolism. Okay. So these are the characteristics of the level of these are the characteristics of the living organisms. Thank you.